Welcome. We're going to spend today with a beautiful reflection, a self-revelation, if you will. Before we begin our reading, let's join together in the spirit of our community, which is in the recognition that I am found. I'm no longer searching. I'm no longer seeking. I'm not a seeker. We're here to mine the depths of the grace and glory of reality, awake from the world of appearances and awake in full recognition in heaven. It is normal and it is natural for us to live with perfect peace, the peace that passeth understanding of the deceived mind, as our rock solid foundation. It is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Claim it, take it, live it. As one, we give. The word taking is a bit of a misnomer. In truth, we give unto our world. So let's rest in the recognition of the one thing that is absolute reality, that is omnipresent, omnipresence, omnipotent omnipresence, omniscient omnipresence. There's a teaching in A Course in Miracles that is one that we need to honor, and that is you must hear the truth about yourself. But I want to flesh that out a little bit with you before we get into our reading today, and that is you must hear the truth about yourself having already accepted that it's true at the very early, in the very early stages, shall we say, of free work required to accept what I am. We must be at least open to accepting what I am. And if you're here in this community, I accept what I am. Stand in the acceptance of what is in order to actually hear the truth about what it is that I am. And importantly, that I isn't personal. I is simply awareness, aware consciousness, consciousness aware of itself as itself. No person, simply pristine, immaculate, infinite, complete, eternal, divine consciousness, fully satisfied and fulfilled as itself, unconditionally, without conditions, which of course is very personally mined, isn't it? Conditions are necessary for our fulfillment. Well, the truth is fulfillment without conditions. This is your one and only reality, and there is no other. Just like a dream, there is no other. So I want to read to you today from Marie Watts. This is from the ultimate. And we often refer to Marie Watts. Her offering is pure, is clear, is precise. We read for the joy of self-revelation and self-recognition, not to pick up information, not to accumulate, not to learn something, but to be willing to learn what I am. That's the only learning that's actually valid and required in life. To live aright, to live as one, to live in perfect, unchallenged and unchallengeable fulfillment, which is, of course, what we all seek, never to be found in things, but to be found as I am quite naturally, inherently, innately, already. So rest back in the knowing already, in the knowing to start with, begin in truth, be truth, completely full open consciousness. We're not picking up information. See if you can get into that shift that's required, that is the recognition of the omni-active omnipresence right here as I am right now. Fear not, I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burnt, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. Even every one that is called by my name. For I have created him for my glory. I have formed him, yea, I have made him. Bring forth the blind people that have eyes, and the deaf that have ears. Ye are my witnesses, saith the Lord, and my servant who I have chosen, that ye may know and believe me, and understand that I am he. Before me there was no God formed, neither shall there be after me. This is no riddle, this is literal. One shall say, I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob. I am the first, and I am the last, and beside me there is no God. Beloved listener, beloved reader, what is thy name? What is your identity? What other name than the one could establish your identity? What other could there be? Which is why we stand here to go deeper in the recognition of what I is, not figuring it out, not trying to understand it, to accept, to acknowledge, to recognize, to claim, to admit the truth. I am is your name. It is I am that is established as your identity. Nothing special about that. This is not reserved for special ones. This is the one. Don't be deceived by appearances. There is one. And this one is the all that there is. And there are no exclusions and no exceptions. When all seeming misidentification is obliterated, the I am that you are shows forth crystal clear, and you know yourself as you are. Therein is the Holy Grail. It's never been missing, wasn't buried under a pyramid. As you've always been, and as you ever will continue to be. Whereas you were or seemed to be blind, now you see. Now do you see? Of course, there are some who still seem to prefer to be called by the name of Jacob. For yet a little while, they cling to the mistake, the one and only mistake. Is a mistake anything, or is it just requiring a correction? It's rendered nothing in the correction, just like the dream of being something I'm not is rendered nothing in the correction. It's replaced entirely. They cling to the misidentification, the sense of a personal identity. But it doesn't matter, for they shall all know me, the only identity, from the least of them unto the greatest. Thus is the power of you, beloved. You can pretend to be something you're not, for as long as you like, and it really doesn't matter. We're not here to try and wake anyone up. A dream is forever nothing. Sleep for as long as you like, but you can never escape your inherent perfection, grace, and glory. For that is all that there is. That's the point of omnipresence. That's the primary, the soul, and the soul, SOLE and SOUL, identity of life, currency of life, fact of life, apart from which there is nothing else happening. Do you remember the fears and limitations of the misidentification named Moses? When he was faced with the task of freeing his people from bondage, his first reaction was one of self-disparagement. And Moses said unto God, who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? All self-deprecation, self-depreciation, self-condemnation, limitations, restrictions are seemingly inherent in the misidentity, which is no identity. It's not personal. It's not yours. It's not you. It belongs to no one. Just like the character you might have dreamed you were in a dream isn't you. It was when Moses realized that he was that I am, that he went forth with confidence, with faith in his ability to accomplish what had seemed impossible to his mistaken sense of identity. I of myself am nothing, but I, in fact, am omnipotent in truth. And isn't that the joy of living truthfully? To have everything, to know I am everything I can want for nothing is literal. Every promise that has been given is literal and tangible. The same thing is true of all of us. In the name, identity of Almighty God, we can do all things because really the only thing being done is the omni-active omnipresence. I of myself am nothing, but I am. Of course, we all know I am. We've just been simply mistaken about what we are and restored in absolute joy, indescribable joy, happiness, harmony in truth, because it can't be any other way. Omnipotence is unchallenged. That which is all encompassing has no opposition nor opposites. I am self effulgent grace and glory. Indeed, God has called thee by thy name. God has identified himself as you. Thou art mine. You do not belong to yourself. There's no person. There's literally no person. Nothing ever happened for a person because there is none. There's no person that becomes spiritual. This is really one of the greatest tragedies, actually. There are so many who know about the truth but don't know the truth as one to the exclusion of everything else. Fully embodied, we might say. Perfect peace is the litmus test. Perfect, impenetrable, imperturbable peace. You do not belong to yourself, you belong to God. And of yourself you are nothing, have nothing, know nothing. As God expressed, you are all, have all, perceive all. In this perception there is no fear and no danger threatens. Here there is nothing destructive, harmful, or evil. Here you know that God has identified himself as you, has given you his name, I am. You have not chosen God, he has chosen you. Of course we're all chosen, and we cannot fail to know thyself, myself, the self. There is nothing special about being chosen. Everyone is chosen. It seems as if few hear that which already is established as what I am, and fewer still listen, and perhaps fewer still walk the way as Christ so clearly demonstrated, as have other way showers. He has chosen to evidence manifest his glorious being as you. Ye are my witnesses. You are the evidence that I am, and there is no other I. Who or what is the God that has chosen you? It is yourself, your God self, which is your only self, just like a character in a book doesn't have itself as the character as any kind of authority. It is all the author. Every bit of it is the author. Insisting, yourself insisting upon being itself as you. And therein lies our fulfillment already established, the kingdom of heaven already established. The inner response you feel is self-revelatory, self-revelation. It is your absolute identity and self-recognition. As yourself, you know as you are known. An eternal, beginningless, changeless, endless, conscious perfection is perceived to be your entirety. Seeing the light by being the light. Self-recognition is complete. Self-revelation is self-illumination. You are the light, and in you there is no darkness at all. Now you can see what the Master perceived when he declared, I am the truth, the life, and the way. For you also are the truth, the life, and the way. This instant you stand in your entirety as all the truth and all the life and mind that has been presented as the ultimate, as the absolute. This information isn't exclusive. Information is nothing until you see what it's pointing to and be what it's pointing to. Be the truth to know the truth, as we so often say. And the way ye know, because your conscious identity is the way. Go forward in the light as the light, for you are the very brightness of his glory. He has identified himself as you. Remember, this is nothing special. There is no specialness. There is only oneness, allness, all-inclusiveness. He's given you his name, I am. You are free and you know it. And it is knowing this, living 24/7 in prayer, knowing this, that we find that we have always been that I am, and I indeed have dominion. You are not under the law, for you are the principle of your own being. You are the I am that is self-governed, self-sustained, and self-maintained throughout eternity and infinity. This is the absolute. This is the ultimate. This is you. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them, and be their God. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are entirely passed away, and this is literal. For those of you here and listening to the replay, and perhaps we'll even post this to land with any ready ear, the litmus test of knowing truth is being truth. In truth, we know one is. We see one. We know consciousness is all. We don't address suffering in the typical way because we know it has no existence in truth. Therein lies the healing. Therein lies our capacity to do the greater works, to live the greater works, and beyond. Do we have ears to hear? By many, these verses from Revelation are considered to be a prophecy that heaven will appear in some distant future. Nothing could be more misleading than this misconception of the truth as stated here. This is no prophecy. This is revelation. And what it reveals is the kingdom of God right here and now. Remember, there's no woo-woo. We take all the woo-woo out of that word, God. God simply means consciousness. Just as the famous physicists and quantum scientists have discovered, as Werner Heisenberg said, the first sip from the glass of sciences, one is an atheist, but at the bottom of the glass, God is waiting. Simply means the indescribable, undefinable allness, the omnipresence, the one substance that is also supply and also activity, the simultaneous nature of reality. It is not difficult to grasp in truth, as truth, and from truth. I have dominion. Knowledge is my inheritance and birthright, of course. Consciousness right here and now, as all. Omnipresence right here, right now, as all. Of course, nothing can be separate from this. I am that I am. This is not the way it shall be. It is the way it has eternally been and will forever continue to be. Already established. I don't make it so. I don't try and work it out. It is only in standing in it is, standing in the finished kingdom. Seeing the light by being the light. We know this to be true. We do not struggle to become what we already are or strive to attain a kingdom that is eternally here. The tabernacle of God is within each of us because God expresses himself as all of us. There shall no longer be even the appearance of sickness, sorrow, or death, for the seeming surrender of our identity has dissolved in the glorious light of the ultimate, of the absolute, of the principle, of the fact of life. Fact is fact. We don't debate it. We can't change it. The truth is not a personal, denominational thing. It is what's left when all the BS is taken away. And it's the glorious truth for us all. You are no longer a seeker after the light. Rather, it is that you are the light itself, rejoicing in its own self-perception. Here you stand in the light, as the light, constantly expanding in self-revelation. Now you know that you have never surrendered your identity. You've never been other than you are, at this instant, also eternally and infinitely. You are fully aware of your absolute identity as God identified. You are conscious of the glory you had with him before the world began. Here and now, there are no fetters, no restrictions, no limitations. Neither are there imperfections to be overcome or problems to solve. Really living is beyond that nonsense. Truly, our heart's desire is fulfilled, is reality. The cruel trick of a life that is born and then dies was never anything but a case of mistaken identity. Glorious and free, you are established as the eternal light, glowing, expanding, illuminating your universe. Here, words come to an end. But oh, don't we rejoice in them here? Beloved, this is God's gift to himself. This is your entirety, wholeness, totality, and completeness. This is your truth, your life, your mind, your consciousness, your soul, your being, and your body. The I am that I am is all. This is you. Accept this gift of self-revelation and rejoice and begin real life.